We've seen a lot of really terrible games be put onto subscription services, and then the studios can say, oh my gosh, we've got millions upon millions of players in game, but we can see through their BS. And Dragon Age of Veilguard is a title that did not sell, nobody really liked, and now that it's going free on basically every major subservice, they are being raked across the coals for it. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, it's pretty inevitable at this point in the industry that when a game has been out for a long time, it will go on to a service so that people can play it and try it, and maybe they'll end up buying an individual copy of it. But when a game this bad is being put onto basically every major service at once, gamers are going to point and laugh because nobody wanted to buy this game in the first place, and that means that nobody really wanted to play it. So you're not going to get a lot of engagement with a title being added like this. And the point of subscribing to something like an Xbox Game Pass is to play fun games and test out fun games. And when this is like your big headliner for a month, yeah, people aren't going to be particularly interested. So I've talked about Dragon Age of Veilguard a lot on this channel. It was filled with modern audience slop, like terminology such as transgender, non-binary. It had top surgery scar toggles. All of the characters were basically just walking billboards for certain sexualities. None of them really had great chemistry together. The general story was mediocre. The graphics were okay, and it just felt like a modern audience Dragon Age. It's not what people wanted after waiting for 10 freaking years, but this is what they put out in 2024, and basically nobody liked it or played it. It didn't engage a lot of players, never mind copies sold. And now that they're putting it onto Xbox Game Pass and Amazon is giving it away for free and it's on EA Play, gamers are roasting them for this because nobody liked this game. If you go on over to something like Metacritic, it's got terrible scores. If you go on over to the Steam page, those aren't looking much better. Looking at the Metacritic page, it's got an 82 critic, which is an insanely high score, but a 3.9 user with 8,435 ratings. So it's not like there's only a handful and it's just people being negative. No, this is a mixture of Dragon Age fans, of fantasy fans, of casual gamers, all who should have liked this game, but all who ended up hating this experience. Looking over on SteamDB, you can see that its all-time peak wasn't great for a BioWare game at 89,000, but in-game right now is only 827. We don't know other numbers on other platforms, right? But one would assume that on console, it's probably similar because usually we don't see one platform being 800 people and another being 100,000 people. That's just not the way that this world works. And they never put out extra content for this game, except for a couple of costumes that they didn't initially put in that they gave away like for free a couple months back. But that's still not story content. So there's no reason for people to even go back to this game if they've already played it. And the scores for this also aren't particularly good. While it's not overwhelmingly negative, it's sitting at mixed with 27,000 English reviews and 372 recent reviews. BioWare, EA, Dragon Age, all of those things should have led to a significantly higher score than this, but it doesn't have that score that's good because it's just a bad game overall. Now, we had recently found out that Amazon was literally giving away the game for free, and still nobody is playing it. Between August 20th and September 2nd, 2025, Amazon Australia launched a promotion where anyone buying qualifying items, everything from routers to controllers, would receive a free copy of Veilguard. Imagine buying something like a router or maybe even another game and then getting this pile of shit in your package. I'd be offended. According to reports, more than 1,000 separate items triggered the freebie. Imagine buying a printer or a kitchen appliance and finding this bonus video video game tossed into your order. Far from being a celebration, it comes across as a digital clearance bin. Yeah, they printed too many, nobody ended up wanting this title, and now they're just trying to get rid of them as quickly as possible. We know that you can now get unlimited access to Veilguard with EA Play. Ready your companions and carve your path through Thetis. How is this going? No thank you. Retcon this abomination. Remove Dragon Age from the game, and maybe just call it the Veilguard, say it is a fever dream, and maybe you can revive this franchise. Gay. Ha ha ha. No one is touching that. No, Pride Month was in June. You're 2 months too late. Well, I downloaded it, went to play it, then it asked for my pronouns, so I deleted it instantly. No thanks. Never make woke garbage like this again. And we also know that it is going on to Game Pass again, which, by the way, it already has been on Game Pass once, so they're trying it for a second time. And this one is also getting wrecked. Gay, you'd have to pay me to play that. Nobody wants this woke shit. You've got time to delete this. X still needs a dislike button. No. Now, I always say this, you are an adult who can do what you want with your own money, and you can spend time playing Dragon Age Veilguard. If you think it looks half decent, or you're a really big fan of the Dragon Age franchise and you just want to see what they wrote in this story, then sure, go for it. But if you're looking for my opinion, I highly recommend you stay away from this. It is a terrible experience all around, and I got really no joy out of it, except for the fact that I was live streaming my playthrough, so me and the chat were memeing on it a lot. Otherwise, I don't really see a reason to play this. It doesn't feel like Dragon Age. None of the characters even really remind me of Dragon Age. I know that there's a couple that are returning, but they still are like new versions of themselves. The environments are only okay. Like, it just is not a fun game at all whatsoever. And I think if you have a few hours to spare every day to play video games, there are a million other out there that are significantly better. And clearly, I'm not the only one that dislikes Veilguard, judging by all of these responses and all of the just very terrible scores. Still too expensive. Actually, no, we're not downloading that. And then they gave away the Veilguard for free, and yet no one was interested. So I'll be keeping my eye on some of the developer accounts to see if anybody is really upset still about the backlash, though they've all been pretty quiet. Some of them have even gone on to work for major companies on major projects. We know that recently a Dragon Age Veilguard writer was appointed senior quest designer at Bethesda, most likely working on Elder Scrolls 6, which is absolutely insane. I did another video on that, but I just can't believe that people who worked on Andromeda and Anthem and Veilguard are failing upwards so quickly. And, well, Dragon Age Veilguard is a title that we will all remember because of how awful it was. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.